it back to the creep. Kiss us, busy.
I walk different, I talk different. I see the money, you know I act different. I make moves and I'm trying to ad-lib it. I need more chill, just below the door. I don't ever wanna go home. Hit a long street to the mall. Get this bitch turned to the ice safe folk.
Walk different, I talk different. I see the money, you know I act different. I make moves and I'm trying to ad-lib it. I need more chill, just below the dome. I don't ever wanna go home. Hit a long street to the moon. Get this bitch turned to the ice safe phone.
What you saying, nigga?
Ice safe phone.
All this bitches in the building, drop it on the floor. You know I got feeling. I got feeling. She call me on my feeling.
All these bitches in the building, drop it on the floor, you know I got feelings. Say I got feelings. She got me on my feelings. Hold on a second, what's the hold up? I'm dying of thirst, I need to drink a pinch of vodka. Why they taking shots, I took a shot, got 89, me on lockdown. She asking for a donut, I said, no. How about we tear boner through the bathroom? She denying on a man, I'm like, excuse you. Let her go through. I ain't selling, she ain't buying. She told me she in love with the lion. Shit is up like a silence. I make move behind the door, super violent. And I believe, so I tap and left. I ain't the type to kill, I just hold her breast. And I hope I squeeze a meal. I walk different, I talk different. I see the money, you know I act different. I make moves and I'm trying to ad-lib it. I need more chill, just below the dome. I don't ever wanna go home. Hit a long street to the moon. Get this bitch turned to the ice safe phone.
What you saying, nigga?
Ice safe phone.
All the bitches in the building, dropping ass on the floor. You know I got feeling. I got feeling. She call me on my feeling.
All the bitches in the building, dropping ass on the floor. You know I got feeling. Say I got feeling. She got me on my feelings. TikTok time passing, so the night flashing. I'm about to murder my stashing.
It is a Wednesday.
Oh man, what a great way to kick off the show. As Amy just said right now, it is of course a Wednesday. What a great way to kick off the show. And of course, King Songs all the way from Mbekweni, Park, definitely doing great things. I'm of course speaking to him a little later on the show, so to make sure you stick around for that. It's a Wednesday. We're talking all things science and technology. Hashtag food technology, hashtag food security. On Twitter, we are of course at Ekse_live. On Facebook, we are simply at Ekse on Cape Town TV. Do what you're going to do to make sure you are part of the biggest youth show in the motherland. Kamlam Stella J, better known as a Fleeky.
Oh, lekker man. Thank you, man. You know, my name is Amy Meyer, and on our lineup today we have Dr. Masuku, all the way from UWC in the Department of Biotechnology. So if you are somewhere, you know, someone like that, a little scientist, want to be like her, you stay tuned because she will give you a little bit more advice about that, as well as her exciting career. Guys, you know, what more do we have? What more do we have?
Definitely, I'm looking forward to that chat.
Yes.
I want to know, because I almost registered for biotechnology. I want to know what more about it, but obviously I didn't pursue it because I'm trying to be rich. Anyway, what's up, everybody? My name is Awonge Tulaza. Like they said, we have a jam-packed show for you guys. We have Sinawo, all the way from Eastern Cape, Emonti. He's been talking to us about his journey through food technology. He also studied food technology at Cape Peninsula University. And yeah, he'll be taking us, if you have any questions for the homie, please let us know on our social media platform using the hashtags mentioned earlier. If you forgot, hashtag food technology, hashtag food security.
Definitely, man. We have amazing people in the studio. We're also joined by a young lady called Phoebe Mgxaji, who has traveled all the way to Beijing for a competition, and she has won 2 medals, making Mzansi proud. She's also part of the Expo, Eskom Expo for young scientists. She said, tell us more about the incredible story in her incredible journey. But right about now, let's check out for some side tech news with Melikaya.
Ngazo zozibini kusinalo output flick uEmy kunye noAwonge sinamkele kwidesika yendaba ezingenzululwazi nobuchwepheshe balemihla. Inqaku lokuqala ngethuba umongameli welizwe loMzantsi Afrika uCyril Ramaphosa esenza isifungo sokuba ngumongameli wesithandathu wentando yesininzi. Igqiyazana leli loMzantsi Afrika belisenza imbali lisiya emajukujukwini. Umajor Mandisa nomcebo Mfeka wenze imbali ekubeni abengowasetyhini wokuqala ontsundu kweli loMzantsi Afrika ukuba yi-combat fighter pilot. Nkosazana Mfeke wazalelwe eNtuzuma kwiphondo laKwaZulu Natal. uxelele intatheli ukuba wazibona ukuba unothando kweli candelo eneminyaka nje emihlanu ubudala. Ukwaleke ngelithi umakhulu nomama wakhe babesoloka bemthatha bamse kwimiboniso yezenqwelo ntaka kwisikhululo senqwelo moya iVirginia. Ngethuba efumanisa ukuba ngazibandakanya neSouth African Air Force wayeneminyaka eli-16. Umfeka uligqiyazana lesibini emveni koLieutenant Thokozile Muwamba owaba ngwasetyhini wokuqala eZambia ukuba yi-fighter pilot ngonyaka ka-2017. Inqaku lesibini, inkampani yezobuchwephesha iHuawei isungule iphulo layo lokuqeqesha mahala abantu abanezidanga kwezobuchwephesha ibanika isakhono se-5G training gabula makhumsha kwidyunivesithi yaseRhawutini Neves. iHuawei le yaziwa njengompondo zihlanjiwa kwezobuchwephesha lwe-5G. UMzantsi Afrika kwiphulo lokuphuhlisa uqoqosho lwayo ngoko ke ibona i-5G le ibalulekile kwelo phulo yokumelana ne-4th Industrial Revolution xa siboleka kwelasemzini. Unjingalwazi Zeblo Vilakazi waseVez uthe bafuna ukubulela kakhulu kwiinkokheli zeHuawei eMzantsi Afrika. Yena usokola mphathi weHuawei uthe njengoko ilizwe lingena kwi-4th Industrial Revolution kubalulekile ukuba kungabikho ushiyekayo ngasemva. Uqhube wathi eli loMzantsi Afrika linesakhono kakhulu kwaye ulutsha lwakhona lungakhula lube zingcaphephe. Abaxhamla kweli phulo ngabo sebepasile eVets nasedyunivesithi yaseRhawutini. Inqaku lesithathu, amabhinqa oMzantsi Afrika yaqhubeka ukuthatha inxaxheba kumasebe bekade onganyelwe ngamadoda njengoSaneth Robinson ongokuqala wasetyhini ukufumana iimpepha-mvume zokuqhuba elwandle. Lo kaRobinson waqala inkqubela phambili yakhe ngo-1995 kumajoni amanzi aseMzantsi Afrika apho wayeligosa lokulwa kwinqanawe ezahlukeneyo. AbakwaTransnet bathi ukuphumelela kwaRobinson kwicandelo lezamanzi kwenziwe kukunyamezela kwakhe. Ukuqatshelwa kukaRobinson njengowasetyhini ukufumana impepha-mvume zokuqhuba elwandle kumenza akwazi ukukhokhela amatanki asuka ku-51,260 W ukuyotsho kwinqanawe ezingangobunzima obungama-12,000 TEU. Ukuqhuba inqanawe kwakuliphupha kuye kodwa lithe lafezeka. Uthe Robinson uyawuthanda lo msebenzi kwaye uyayivuyela nemicelimngeni eza nalo msebenzi. Uthe uyakhuthazeka inkxaso esuka kwi-TNPA kwaye kwinyanga ephelileyo wokuqala wasetyhini wakweli wakufumanisa inkwili. Uthe uzimisele kakhulu ukuqhubekeka phambili izakhono zakhe ukuze akhuthaze nabanye abasetyhini. Inqaku lokugqibela namhlanje, umongameli wakweli uCyril Ramaphosa nge-23 kule imiyo utyikitye umthetho wokurhafela icarbon. Lo mthetho uza kuqala nge-1 kaJuni unika ifuthe kwabo bathi bangcolise umoya. Utshintsho kwimo yozulu lunika wona mcelimngeni kuluntu. Eyona njongo iphambili kwerhafu yecarbon kukunciphisa amazinga okutshisa kwegesi aluchaphazela ifutho lamaqondo obushushu, i-global warming gabula makhumsha, indleko enempumelelo kunye nendlela ezifikelelekayo. Ulawulo mali luthe urhulumente uchaze izibophelelo ezimandla ekudlaleni eyakhe inxaxheba kwiinzame zomhlaba jikelele ekunciphiseni i-global warming. Umgaqo-nkqubo wotshintsho lwemozulu kazwelonke ngo-2012. Amaziko mveliso aza kukhuthazwa ukuba amkele ubuchwephesha obucocekileyo kwiminyaka eli-10 ezayo. Umlenze wokuqala orhafelo lwecarbon luza kuqala kusebenza nge-1 June ukuya kwi-31 December 2022. Umlenze wesibini uza kuqala ngonyaka ka-2023 ukuya kunyaka ka-2030. Kukangako ebesinako de kube ngulwesithathu ozayo. Back to you guys in studio.
Giving nothing but the best of edutainment, the best of performances, the best of performing artists around Cape Town. That is, of course, King Socks with his song titled Bring It Back to the Crib. I want to know about the title Bring It Back to the Crib. Why the titling? What was going through your mind when you wrote that song?
When I wrote the song, basically the song is a bonus song for my mixtape,
Yeah.
right? Where I'm basically explaining back. I'm explaining like what I'm gonna bring you to the tape, right? The whole tape name is Bring It Back to the Crib,
Yeah.
right? So I took that title from that tape, so I
Yeah.
put it as my main single.
Yeah. Let's talk about how you were introduced into the hip-hop industry. What influenced you? to become a hip hop artist?
Basically many things. Many things.
Yeah.
Even a little sound like from gospel to jazz influenced me. But I took a little bit of everything and try to mash it up on one sound and then try to create me in the process. And trying to bring something that's not already out there. So that's how I got into the music.
Let's talk about the things that you've done in the past. What has King Socks, right, worked on in the past to make sure that his brand is out there?
Funny thing about me is that I'm an artist who's not been out there for long. Actually, I've been doing rap since I was 9.
Wow.
Since I was 9 years old. I started recording at 13 years old, right? But my solo career started actually last year, July. So in just a short space of time is that I've recorded songs with artists from like all over the world. Like, excuse me, from Nigeria, the United States, where else, man? I don't know.
How do you choose the artists that you collaborate with? Do you get chosen? Do you go out and choose? How do you choose who you work with?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't choose anybody. Most of the people I'm no offense to anything, but most of the people I worked with, I'm working with now, is that they came to me. Right, they approached me from SoundCloud. So when I put my song out there, they be like, oh, this rapper's good, this rapper's that, this rapper's doing that and that. So how about we do a song? I was like, oh no, it's cool. As long as it's gonna get my name out there, I'm gonna do that.
Let's talk about 2019. What can you expect from King Socks?
I'm gonna expect a lot. This is like just the beginning of things.
It's just the beginning of it.
I'm looking to host one big, massive event, right? Which is I'm hosting some of my friends from overseas, right? So I'm looking to do that like this year. But this year, be expecting a lot of music. As I'm about to drop July, probably I'm going to Johannesburg next month, right? For one big thing, but I don't like talking about it before it's confirmed, right? So expect big things from King Socks this year.
Who do you see yourself working with, especially in the South African hip hop industry? Who does King Socks see himself collaborating with?
Funny thing, I was talking about that with my manager like 2 weeks back, right? I'll say Amanda Black.
Wow.
Amanda Black, she gives me another, I would say she's like a different version of me. The soul version of me. Right, I'm a rapper, which is I don't do those type of sounds, but when I see her story and I think of mine, I can relate, right?
Started rapping at the age of 9. Do you remember the first few lines that you wrote in your little book or your school book?
I can't be, I wrote a lot, that's the problem. But I can't pinpoint on one specific line, right?
Rap is currently growing, hip-hop is currently growing. There's so many genres within hip-hop itself.
Especially.
How would you describe your sound? Which genre do you associate yourself with?
Basically, as you heard on my performance, right? I'm trying to bring a new sound. Even if it's hip-hop, but it's not the typical and ordinary hip-hop you hear like from a daily base, from the ordinary, typical, no offense to anybody, but hip-hop artists. So my sound is basically narrative of my story. That's how I can put it in the most bland way. I'm trying to bring my story out there, right? So I wish you could actually, if anybody listens to it, could listen to me when they listen to my story.
Quickly, before I let you go, how do you get hold of your music and how do we follow you in social media?
You follow me on everywhere possible. But I'll emphasize on SoundCloud. Please follow me on SoundCloud. At King Socks Music. Right. On Twitter, you get me at King Socks _SA. On Instagram, you get me at King _Socks _SA. I don't know if I said that right.
Okay. He doesn't know his Instagram handle, but do follow me, King Socks. If you type King Socks
that's the bottom
on
line.
all social media platforms, I'm sure you're gonna see this guy and make sure you support his music. But right now, quick breather. We'll do more to come right to Exce straight after this. Back. This is Ekse right here on Cape Town TV, taking you all the way up until 5 p.m. It's a Wednesday, which means we're talking all things science and technology. Right about now, we're joined by a very inspiring human being, Dr. Takalani Mulaudzi-Masuku, who is a lecturer at the University of the Western Cape in the Department of Biotechnology. Well, she was previously employed for 3 years at the Agricultural Research Council under the Professional Development Program within the National Agriculture Probiotics Research and Services Unit in collaboration with the University of the Western Cape. Dr. K has trained over 10 postgraduate students in the past 5 years and successfully raised research funds asked for the NRF Tutuka Institute support grant and the NRF FRF sabbatical grant. She is the principal investigator of the Molecular Sciences and Biochemistry Research Laboratory, and of course her group uses molecular, biochemical and bioinformatics methods coupled with electrochemistry to study the mechanism of plant stress. That sounds amazing. She's doing great things within the biochemistry and of course the biotechnology industry, and she's all the way from the University of the Western Cape. I studied there, and yeah, I must say it's one of the best universities in Africa. Doctor, welcome on the show. Hearing me read your bio, what goes through your mind when you say, oh my God, I've achieved so much? What goes through your mind when someone introduces you in that manner?
It's actually amazing because when you are still studying, you are still young, you do have dreams, you want to see yourself somewhere, but you don't really think that you will make it. So hearing that, it actually inspires me. It actually makes me to see that I am actually trying. I am not there yet, but I am trying.
You're doing the most. I must say, science is something that, as a black child, you're told science is difficult. You can never be a scientist. You can only be a teacher or a nurse if you make it that far. What inspired your love for science?
That is very true. I mean, when you're growing up, all you see is teachers around you, is nurses around you. But as for me, I was actually that child who loves to just find out new things, see what people are doing, and always think ahead and wonder, what if I try this, will it work? And I remember when I was growing with my maternal grandmother in Hammanskraal in Pretoria. She was a farmer, and then one interesting thing was she used to cultivate maize and sorghum, and during dry season you'll find that the sorghum is still surviving. So I was so intrigued. I was like, I want to find out what is making sorghum different from maize. So those are some of the things which inspired me to want to try and apply science to see exactly what is making these two crops different.
Wow.
I understand that you work at the Department of Biotechnology. I want to know what biotechnology is, because I was advised as a grade 12 learner, because I love life science so much, which maybe you know it as what was it back in the day?
Biology.
Yes, biology. Yeah, so I wanna know what biotechnology is, because I was, as a science student, and I was advised because I love life science so much. I want to know but I didn't further obviously study it because
you were not advised properly.
Anyway, I didn't have funds, but anyway, I want to know what it is.
Okay. So biotechnology is a very interesting field. It's very broad. So what it means that you use living organisms. So you use plants, you use organisms, you use microorganisms, you can use human beings, you can use animals to try and process and produce products so that those products can improve the quality of human life. So examples include things such as fermentation. You use microorganisms to ferment to produce yogurt, to produce beer, to produce cheese, and so on. You also use microorganisms to produce antibiotics, and then you can also use plants or animals to produce drugs for drug discovery. So it's very broad. I've just mentioned just a few. I haven't covered everything.
That means you need to go to varsity to learn all the other things that she didn't
Now
mention.
that I know what it is about, it's not aligned with my passion, but yeah.
Let's talk about the amazing work that you've done with the 10 postgraduate students. And also, what did you do with them? And also, do you think as the country you're producing enough degrees when it comes to doctors?
Okay, that's very interesting. So your life as a scientist doesn't only start when you become an academic, or you become a lecturer, or when you have your own lab. It actually begins when you start your PhD. So when I started my PhD, I started learning how to supervise honor students, tutor undergraduate students, demonstrate them. And then I remember when I entered the Agricultural Research Council in Stellenbosch as a postdoctoral fellow after graduating my PhD, I was given a PhD student to co-supervise. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Yes, so what I did over there, we were looking at how we can establish a natural rubber producing plant called Guayule, how we can cultivate it here in South Africa, how we can process its latex so that we can use it to produce gloves and condoms, which are non-allergenic, so they don't cause any allergies as compared to the normal rubber that is being used from a plant called Hevea brasiliensis. So we did that work, and that lady, she graduated in 2017 August. I also had other 3 students which were interns and honor students. So around that year, I think the past 3 years, I graduated over 3 students.
Wow.
And then now when I became a lecturer at the University of the Western Cape, that's when I started my molecular sciences and biochemistry research lab, and I continued with part of the research that I was learning at the ARC. And part of that work, it includes working with sorghum, where you look at certain traits, certain characteristics which make sorghum to actually survive better under harsh conditions as compared to other crops. And during that time, we identified, I think, about 3 genes. One of the genes we further characterized it is called the heat shock protein, which when we put that gene, for those who understand science, we transformed it into E. coli, and it was able to protect E. coli from heat. So bacteria is known to survive up to about 50 degrees, but that bacteria was able to survive up to 65 degrees Celsius. So during that time, I think we also graduated over 3 honor students. The past 3 years, I've graduated 3 master students, and 2 of them with a cum laude.
I think you've done enough for this lifetime.
Are you looking maybe into recruiting more students and helping them?
Yes, that is my job. So my job is to empower students. My job is to recruit more students. As we speak right now in my lab, I think I have over 8 students. I have 2 PhD students, 3 master students, and 3 honor students. So that's about 8.
I'm sure
and 1 intern.
I'm sure your students call you Dr. TK when they're begging for marks. Like, oh, Dr. TK, we need marks, 2% extra. Right now, you're currently working in the lab. What are you currently working with in the lab with the students that you just mentioned right now?
So that is very interesting. So I just expanded from my work that I did in my PhD and also my postdoc work. So what we are currently doing is we are looking for other ways to try and improve crop growth under the current challenges. So challenges that agriculture is faced with include drought, salinity, the global climate change that is causing a rise in temperature. So if you look at the agricultural products, production is very low. But as scientists, we are trying to find ways to improve that. So we are currently using what is called signaling. So there are molecules that we apply to the plants, and they send a signal to the plant, so the plant can activate its defense system so that it can survive under lack of water, under salinity, under high temperature. So we are using calcium at the moment. There's a paper that we are currently drafting, and we are also using carbon monoxide. The gas that you guys think that is toxic, it also has some benefits.
Wow. See, you've done a lot with your life as far as the education is concerned. Tell me some of your career highlights.
Some of my career highlights, I'll just start with the recent. I was very motivated when I had a chance to visit the USA last year. I went to University of Missouri. I was looking for a collaborator, and I met one of the best plant scientists in the world, Professor Abraham Koo, in the University of Missouri. And we established a collaboration, because the dream that I had when I completed my PhD was to be able to engineer a transgenic plant that would be able to grow under lack of water, under salinity, and high temperature. So he has actually helped me to develop that.
I must say, you're doing great work. Thank you so much, Doctor, and good luck with the amazing work that you're currently working on the lab. Well, that is, of course, Dr. Takalani, all the way from the University of the Western Cape. But right now, Amy Mgxaji.
And Sinalo, right now we'll be linking to food security, as it's still a major issue in South Africa. Watch this link by Linda Jackson.
Hi everyone, I'm Linda Jackson and I'm from foodfocus.coza. Today I want to chat to you about food security. What is food security? Well, basically it means making sure that we have sufficient food to feed us as a country, as part of the bigger African continent, and most importantly as a community. The right to food is actually enshrined in our constitution, and it states that everyone has the right to sufficient sufficient food and water, and it emphasizes that the state is responsible for reasonable legislative efforts to ensure that we can actually produce sufficient food to take care of us as a country. This right includes making sure that food is available, that it's accessible, and that it's adequate for everyone without any discrimination. The Department of Agriculture has the specific responsibility to ensure that we've got agricultural policies, we can grow enough crops, and to initiate support programs to ensure that we are producing our own food and to reduce food insecurity within our country. We have a food and nutrition security policy, and this is obviously key in making sure that there's sufficient food for us as a nation. It's not just about South Africa's problems, but in fact, South Africa is part of a group of countries that have all committed to the UN Sustainability Goals for 2030, and goal number 2 actually commits to ending hunger, worldwide hunger, achieving food security, improving nutrition, and making sure that we've got sustainable agriculture. And the target date that's set for this is 2030. It's not just a South African problem. Evidence from around the world suggests that there's more than 821 million people that suffer from extreme hunger, and these are 2017 figures. If we look at the Global Hunger Index, this actually measures countries that have hunger problems relative to one another, and in fact we've got more than 52 countries out of 119 countries that were measured that are suffering from what we call critical or alarming levels of hunger. People going to bed at night just simply not having enough food. Now, the solutions to extreme hunger are not going to be solved in a day. We didn't get here in just one day, so we're not going to be able to fix it in just one day. We're going to have changes in policy. We're going to have, on a global scale, we've got to deal with climate change, and climate change and food security are closely linked. We've got extreme weather patterns. We've got droughts that we've had in South Africa. We've had floods, and this obviously jeopardizes our crops. Obviously, we've got natural resources that are being depleted at an alarming rate. The quality of our water, our soil, and even our oceans are being affected as the population of the world expands and there's need for more and more food. We've got to address environmental problems if we're going to address food problems. And so we need to work towards what we refer to as sustainability or sustainable agricultural programs to make sure that we can produce enough food, but do it in such a way that our resources are used as effectively as possible, and taking into account future generations. Not just about feeding us, it's about our grandchildren, our grandchildren's grandchildren. How long are we going to be around on this planet? There is another school of thought that says actually we can produce enough food, but it is simply not getting to everybody who needs the food. Some of us in some parts of the world are just eating too much, and there's others that are simply not getting enough. These numbers could change by 2050, but perhaps it's more a case of a food injustice problem and not so much a food security problem. We can't solve all of these big issues, but what can you and I do? Well, there's a number of things you should consider. First of all, local is lekker. And what we mean by that is, why don't you buy food from local producers? Do we really need to eat strawberries all year round and bring them into South Africa at huge costs from other parts of the world? Should we not be supporting our local crops, our local producers, our local manufacturers? We can do that. What about looking around you to see who doesn't have enough food? Perhaps it's your neighbor. Have you ever thought that you could actually share some of the food that you have? Perhaps you could support charities with donations of food or cash. Give to needy people. In our recent floods, we saw an overwhelming drive within the community to provide canned foods in order to feed people that had been affected by the floods. We can do that. We can help one another. We can improve food security just within our own community by sharing what we do have. Are we eating too much but starving anyway? We have to consider the fact that our food choices are not giving us the most nutritious intakes of, refined sugars and salts are causing diabetes and hypertension within our population. Maybe we need to really look carefully at what we're eating, because we're eating too much of something that's really not good for us, and we need to change our eating habits. Maybe you're wasting food, and I think this is an area where we can all do something. Think about the food you throw away. Sometimes it's even in its packet. You haven't even opened the packet, and yet you're throwing it away because you bought too much. You didn't plan properly. Changing how we buy food can make a significant difference on food waste and make sure that there's enough to actually go around. What about school feeding schemes? I'm sure there's one in your area, and I'm sure that you can support that. Hungry children can't learn, and even if we make a difference to only one child, that's still improving food security within South Africa. You can do that. I can do that. We need to make sure that the food that we have is safe. When there's limited food available, it's so important that every mouthful is safe for consumption. And this is a shared responsibility between government and between us as consumers to make sure that in all stages of food handling, we do the right thing. Yes, there's not enough food to go around, but we can all get involved, and we can all make a small difference to the community around us. Come on, I challenge you. Do the right thing. Try and help improve food security within South Africa.
And you're still with us with Ekse, and we are Ekse Live, and we are with you from 4 p.m. until 5 p.m. today. And you know what else? You can call us on 021-448-0448. The hashtag is #FoodSecurity. But Sinalo, tell them what you know, man.
Definitely, man. Right about now on the show, we're joined by incredible young man all the way from the Eastern Cape, East London, Sinawo. He has a National Diploma all the way from CPUT in food technology, and he also is currently working for one of the biggest companies when it comes to ukutya apha in South Africa. He is, of course, a supervisor when it comes to ukutya in this big company. Sinawo is tell us more about his aspiring journey, and of course, some advice for aspiring people who are starting this career. He said, tell us more about his journey, man. I cannot wait to find out. It's good to see young people doing great things, doing great careers. And some of us are just doing TV. It's okay. It's fine. No, welcome on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Let's talk about food technology.
Yes.
I have never heard about food technology. I went to school and I've never heard about food technology. What is food technology?
Basically, if food technology is the science behind food.
Yeah.
So food manufacturing revolves around the science. So basically, you would have different aspects of food science and technology, of which different people have to specialize in. There is food legislation, there is food microbiology, there is new product development, as well as food chemistry, and food quality assurance, which is the most important one, because the food we eat has to be safe for human consumption.
Yes. Now the food chemistry, does that come with emotion as well? So if I'm like, Sinalo, I like you, and then we like go with, like strawberries and things.
No.
Does it no?
No. Basically, food chemistry, it's more like having to analyze the chemicals that are in the food product, and to see if they are at the right levels for human consumption.
Okay.
Yes.
So besides being a national diploma in food technology, which is brilliant, they also know that you are a quality
assurance supervisor.
Thank you, babe. So tell me more about that, and tell me, how did you get into that though?
Well, basically, as a quality assurance supervisor, you need to monitor that the controls that are employed in the factory, in the food manufacturing process, they are monitored. So that is your role as a food quality assurance supervisor, and also making sure that the product is going to be safe at the end of the production line. So you're basically the person who stands in the gap when there is no one else but you to stand for the consumer, to say that, hello, this is wrong, this is not good for the consumer. So that's what a food quality assurance person is.
Yeah, when these universities come to your high schools, they don't talk about this kind of careers that we can take. What subjects did you study, and what are some of the things that you would say to someone before enrolling for food science or food technology?
Okay, subjects at high school, it was mathematics and physical science, as well as life sciences. Yes. Yes.
All the straight stuff.
Yes.
So what are some of the things that you can advise a learner from high school entering and enrolling in this field?
Okay. First of all, as a food scientist, you need to be a very curious person.
Yeah.
And willing to learn, because yes, you're a food scientist, but as you move from company to company, from product to product, you will have to learn how that product is and what control measures can you put in order to make sure that the food is safe for the consumers.
Yeah.
So I would advise a person wanting to study, you need to be very curious, and also you need to know which field you want to specialize in, because it comes sometimes with your personality.
Yeah.
If, for instance, you are a very relaxed person who likes doing research, then you can go into new product development or academic. And if you are a bubbly person like Sinawo, you can go into quality assurance, because you will need to have a strong personality to come out in the quality assurance field.
Yeah, where does the love for science come from?
Oh, science, it is everything to me. Science, it's a matter of curiosity.
Yeah.
Because growing up, I used to see, why are they boiling milk? Is it really necessary after milking a cow that we boil the milk?
Yeah.
And then
Yes, it
I
is.
realized that, oh, okay, there is bacteria in that milk, so we need to kill that bacteria. So then I started being curious, why is the expiry date, why there is milk that will expire in the next 10 days and the milk that's going to be expiring maybe in a year. So I got to also learn about those processes within the food science and technology field.
Yeah.
Can you say that's one of your highlights? Because that sounds like a very good highlight story. And if it is one of it, tell me more about what more is, what more can we expect from your highlights in your career?
Well, the biggest highlight actually of my career is having to stand in the gap where there is no one else.
Yeah.
Because I have to fight for the consumers at home to make sure, for instance, that we don't get products with listeria.
Yes.
Yes, those are the things that we have to fight for on a daily basis. It's a daily thing, because yes, someone else who is working on the production floor does not really understand these things. But now, as a person who understands, you need to educate that person. You need to enforce those rules into the people that, okay, this is how you handle the food, and it must be in a safe manner when it comes out of this factory.
Yeah. Let's talking about on daily basis, you're protecting the consumers at home. Us guys, thank you so much for doing that. What do you do as a quality assurance supervisor? What do you do on daily basis?
Yes.
Okay, on a daily basis, I'll have to check the work of my quality controllers, because there is quality controllers. So my quality controllers will do the inspection and tell me of the issues that they've encountered in the factory, and then if they've got any issues that I need to escalate, I would have to escalate. And then in food safety audits, I'm the person who represents the business together with the quality assurance manager in order to make sure that the systems are updated and we are compliant to the regulations that are employed, to whichever consumer we're going to send the product to.
Wow.
Yes.
So here's a long one that I think is very important. You are part of an organization team for food science and technology professionals networks.
Yes.
So tell me more about that.
Basically, Food Science and Technology Professionals Network, it is an organization, if I can say, informal organization, formed by very passionate food scientists and technologists. We have an event that we hold every year to just gather around, speak about the challenges that we are currently facing in the food industry. And we also help each other. It's a very good network, because in case you have an issue and you are stuck, you don't know where to look for help, then you can call a buddy and say, hey, I've got a problem here. I don't know how to streamline this specific regulation. How do I redefine the regulation to fit my factory? So it's those kind of issues that we really discuss, and also helping each other out, which is very, very much important in our field, because someone else might have done the project that you are busy doing. So that's what food science and technology professionals
That's amazing. That's so amazing.
So this is like a support group within individuals that are part of the industry.
Oh yes.
Yeah. You say you come together as a collective, you discuss some of the issues and challenges that you face as food quality assurance in South Africa. What are some of those issues and challenges that you face?
Okay, one of the most recent, it's the listeria.
Yeah.
It's been out there.
Yeah.
And what we've been doing is having to speak about it and how to mitigate the risk from the factory until the consumer.
How do you
basically,
to make sure that the food doesn't go to people?
Yes, and also how did you get it out though?
Yeah.
The listeria.
Okay.
Listeriosis, sorry.
It's listeria.
Listeria, oh right,
the bacteria is listeria and then the sickness is listeriosis.
I was right twice then. 2 points for me.
Quickly before we let you go, if someone wants to study, do you have any advice for someone who wants to study this career?
Yeah.
If you want to study food science and technology, you need to at least obtain level 4 for mathematics, level 4 for physical science, level 4 for life sciences. And you can go to CPUT and Stellenbosch. They also have the qualification.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Doing great things. Right now, I won't get what to happen now.
Bro, I am so surprised as to how many careers there are out there, and then we are not exposed to a lot. Who knew that food and science can actually be one thing? Imagine. I feel like we should find a way to gap that bridge. Anyway, right now we're going to a very calm Prince with the song Sigelela.
Man, we're talking all things science and technology, hashtag food security, hashtag food technology, which is a very interesting industry. We're talking all things science. This is Ekse in Nkube to Sonke, taking all the way up until 4 p.m. Right now, we're joined by a very incredible, inspiring young lady, Phoebe, who has made Mzansi proud when she won 2 medals in Beijing for in a competition. She won this competition because of her food labeling project, which impressed the judges. She believes ukuthi are full of jargons. Wow. There's no information about nutrition, Payana. So she believes that more should be done to give the consumers nutrition of what they are actually eating. Right now, she's joining us right here on the Daily Couches to tell us more about the incredible journey to Beijing and how her project won and why it won. Phoebe, welcome on the show.
Thank you very much.
We call you a young scientist.
Yes, I am young and beautiful.
Young and beautiful. Where does the love for science come from?
Honestly, as a very young child, my mother's a teacher right now. So I grew up in an education environment. Everything, and my mother was a science teacher. So I mean, it's kind
okay,
of.
so she gave you marks at school, like okay.
Yeah. No. Like I would get marks at school, and then she would mark them down.
Wow.
And be like, no, that's not the one. But you know what, guys, it's love, so it's fine. So that's where my background for science came from my parents, because my mother's mother was also a teacher. It's in the entire family. Science came from family.
How were you exposed to this, the competition that you won that took you to Beijing?
In my previous high school, Makassar High, the program had just started there. And then obviously different schools went to Stellenbosch. Well, it was actually Renish High, I'm not completely sure. But we went there and you present your project, and then that's where it started. Then after that, I went to Johannesburg. And there, I also got a medal there.
Sure.
And yes. And I met Proverb, guys, I have to say, I met Proverb. Yes, and obviously when you carry on with your project, you go in deeper, be it in social studies, food labeling, or whatever it may be, you go deeper each time. And then after Joburg, I went to Pretoria. Because in Joburg, they chose 69 candidates of going overseas. But before you go there, you have to go through a panel of judges, which we went to in Johannesburg. And then after Johannesburg, it was overseas.
It was
Yes. Over the oceans and all the way out. Girl, tell me now, let's take it a bit back now. Your motivation, tell me where that came from and where did your thought process actually take you through the journey? Talk about that.
The motivation of the project itself started at school because there was this one time, I tell everybody who comes to me, I was at school and I was thirsty, but not thirsty for like a nice score or anything like that. I was thirsty for water. Okay. And then I went to the tuck shop, and I asked, can I have water? And then they looked at me like I was crazy. They were like, what? We don't sell water. And then I realized that although, yes, they sell a lot of stuff in school, they don't give you a healthy choice, which is the problem because in South Africa, obviously speaking under correction, I'm not completely sure now, but 26% of youth is either not HIV, has diabetes, has diabetes, and that's a very big percentage for the youth that we have right now. And it's always said that the youth is the future, and if we don't take care of the future, then
there will be no future at
there
all.
will be no future. The youth is the future, and if the youth is diabetic, then I mean, our future is going to be nothing. And then that's where it started, and then I started researching on what like the root of the problem, what was the real problem, and then it came up, the labeling, because I mean there are scientific terms there, and I mean they do mean something.
But we don't understand them.
We don't understand them because not everybody is educated. I mean that's sad but true.
Most people I hate it, but still the science tags don't make sense to
because you don't know what monosodium glutamate is.
Or sometimes at 5 grams and I'm like, it looks like this, but it's actually like this, you know?
And they say 5 milliliter per gram into this 50 gram, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Excuse me? Come again? You see, so it makes no sense, which is a problem because at the end of the day, you're just eating. You don't know whether what is in that specific food you could be allergic to. And many a times, the things that you're allergic to are fatal.
And they are written at the back. It's just like we don't
they
read
are
them.
written at the back. You just don't understand it. And many a times, producers do that just because
they want us to buy. They don't
and there's something in there that's also like, you want to take this as what you crave, and then you find out it's not actually really something that you really know.
It's not,
You say the labeling is full of jargons instead of nutrition. Jargons, they're just saying this and this and this and this. What solution have you came up with in your project that won you 2 medals?
Okay, so we came up with we first found out what people understand most, because everybody understands red is stop. Green is go, and yellow is,
Oh, cool.
You can go.
So we went
go.
global. Yeah. I like that idea. So little sugar is a good thing. Like green. I like this.
So we would rate the entire product as a thing. So if it's green, you can eat it. It's okay. But we also used percentages, because if I tell you 50% of this product is sugar, then you're gonna be like 50% is too much for me. Then you're given a choice, because the main problem is you're not given a choice. So that's what we came up with, the robot, and
I think the robot works much better.
Yeah, it does.
I want to know what the award came with. You won this award for this labeling.
Yes, I did.
As a 16-year-old, right? Let's say now you want to go to varsity or after varsity. I know it's tough even to get into varsity, let alone finding a job. I want to know what the award what value it has. What can it do for you as an individual?
Honestly, it has great value, because now I know my CV is going to look beautiful.
Amazing.
Now I know. And it really improves a lot, because then the people who want to take me in university then know that, okay, so this child has been in a science competition, meaning she's intellectually, capable. So it really does a lot.
What do you want to start in varsity?
Yeah, I was going to ask that just
I
now.
want to be a cardiologist.
What is a cardiologist?
It's a doctor that operates the heart.
Yeah, wow,
like Christian Barnard here in Groteskera.
I would think you would have started something to do with food too.
Me too, yeah.
But it does. It does have to do with food, because if you eat properly, then your heart's gonna be fine. No cholesterol. But if you don't eat properly, then there's gonna be problems with your heart, which is why you need doctors.
She's brilliant.
You are
brilliant.
Brilliant. So right now you are currently doing science, and you want to go to varsity and of course started science. You are part of the Eskom Expo for Young Scientists. Quickly, before we go to a quick break, what is that all about?
Science.
No, the Expo.
The
for
Expo.
Young Scientists.
It's basically to expose children, because many a times we're not giving the chance to, whatever idea you may have. So it exposes children into understanding and knowing what they should do in order to become scientists.
Well, Phoebe, that is so amazing. Let's just take a quick exhale from this beautiful girl right next to me. We'll check you back after the break. From so many careers to right here to your screen, it is Ekse. We are live. On Twitter, it is Ekse_live. And on Facebook, it is Ekse. On Cape Town TV, our telephone number to dial is 021 448 0448. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a wonderful, wonderful show.
Definitely,
It was
Yeah.
an amazing show, guys. Keep the conversation on Twitter and on Facebook. Remember, today we're talking all things science and technology. If you want to catch the repeat, what happened on the show, if you've missed anything, worry not. We are playing the repeat tomorrow between 7 to 8 in the morning, or you can catch us on YouTube. And of course, a quick reminder, if you're an aspiring TV presenter right there and you would like to come on the show and be a guest presenter during the month of June, we are giving you that opportunity. All you have to do, send us a 30-minute clip at iamlama@gmail.com telling us why you would like to be on the show and giving us those presenting skills, man.
Yes, it's time for us to say goodbye right now. Before I leave, I want to send a quick shout out to Gibbs. Shout out to you for your one time.
Who's Gibbs?
Who's Gibbs?
Homeboy of mine wanted me to do a shout out one
Home
time.
sister, homeboy. Wait.
Do you say shout out to anyone?
Anyone. Yeah, my mommy and my daddy and my uncle and my aunties and my
And you
sisters.
guys for joining in.
And
I'm
you,
a
Lucia,
guy,
for making
so-
us look pretty. And you put Melikaya for Side Tech News. Thank you so much. He was supposed to be here, but he's very scared of the camera. There you
This is the place, guys. This is the place.
Yeah. Catch him next week, same time, same place, right here on Cape Town TV. Other than that, a big shout out to you for catching us right now. Big shout out to all our security guests for coming. Sinawo, Dr. TK, and of course Phoebe for doing great things.
Yes.
Other than that, we are off here, man. Till next time, take care. And
Bye.
Hi, I'm JP Nordia from Cape Rugby TV. Join me every